Hello everyone out there. You are welcome to your favorite channel, Literature Hub 247. This is a unique channel where we discuss literature, text, and appreciate poems. This video is about an African poem titled Once Upon a Time, composed by Gabriel Okara. Once Upon a Time is one of the poems in the 2026-2030 WAEC syllabus. Let's go ahead and discuss the poem in detail. First of all, let's look at the text of the poem, Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. The poem. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but now they only laugh with their teeth, while their ice block cold eyes search behind my shadow. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hand search my empty pockets. Feel at home, come again, they say, and when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no tries, for then I find doors shut on me. So I've learned many things, son. I've learned to wear many faces, like dress's own face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smile, like a fixed portrait smile. And I've learned too to laugh with only my teeth, and shake hands without my heart. I've also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, and to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these missing things. Most of all, I want to unlearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. That is the text of the poem. Now let's go to the appreciation of the poem. The first thing to do when you want to appreciate a poem is to trace the life history of the poet. These are the things that can lead you to understanding the content of the poem, because most of these poets do write on their life experiences. Gabriel Imomotimi Bang Bang Okara was born on the 24th of April 1921 in Bumonde, in present-day Bayelsa State, Nigeria. He was a renowned poet and novelist. He was one of the first set of recognized poets from Anglophone Africa. One of his poems, titled The Fisherman's Invocation, won him an award in 1978. His first novel, The Voice, published in 1964, won him an award. These are some of his poems: Piano and Drums, As I See It, The Dreamer, His Vision. He died on the 25th March 2019 at the age of 97 in Yenagua, Bayelsa State, Nigeria. Now, I identified some difficult words and expressions in the poem. and I also give what I tagged the poetic meanings of these difficult words and expressions. These are part of the means of understanding a poem. If you want to appreciate a poem, you identify some of the difficult words and expressions and you find meanings to them. It will lead you to understanding the poem better. These are explained in one of my videos. It's on this channel. I titled the video How to Demystify Poetry. If you watch that video, you will be able to appreciate any poem that comes your way. You can search for it on the channel or you request for the link to that video. It explains everything, how you can appreciate poems by yourself. Any poem. Let's go ahead. To laugh with heart and eyes means a genuine laughter. That is how the expression is used in the poem. The meaning according to the usage in the poem. To laugh with faith means a pretense laughter, when somebody is pretending. Search behind my shadow means look down on him. To shake hands with hearts means greetings with genuine intentions. That is real greeting. That is devoid of pretense. To shake hands without hearts means a pretense greetings. It means a pretense greeting. Feel at home. That is, you are welcome. To wear many faces means to pretend. Good riddance means disaffections. To unlearn means not to behave like them again. Those are some of the difficult words and expressions that are identified in the poem. Now, let's now go ahead and do the analysis of the poem stanza by stanza. The first stanza opens with "Once upon a time." This phrase reveals a sense of nostalgia in the poet. He wishes to be familiar with the past. It also introduces the reader to the ways of life in the past. Okara, by using this phrase, is able to establish a sharp difference between the idealized past and the present. The past is the ideal life, when people have true feelings and love for one another, while the present life is full of pretense. Okara in the first stanza tells his son about the ideal life of the past, where things are done normally. The people are not controlled by the dictates of the society. The poet has experienced the past and the present. He is now yearning for the past because of the ideal life that is devoid of pretense. Now let's now quote from the poem. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their ice block cold eyes search behind my shadow, quote unquote. The poet expresses his willingness to escape from the society where he has to conform to the demands of the society. He longs for a society where there is freedom and life is untethered. That one does not have to bow to the demands of society. That is, you don't have to bow to the demands of society. You don't have to force yourself to do something so that you can be accepted in the society. That is the type of life that the poet is yearning for. And is the ideal life of the past. That is what he has experienced when he was young. He also tells his son how the people in the olden days greet with warm handshakes and true feelings. But nowadays, they greet with smiles that do not reach their hearts. That means they are no more laughing with their heart again. The people, according to the poet, are only interested in meeting and greeting the wealthy and influential people, while the poor people are looked down on, maybe because of what they are going to gain from those wealthy people. Let's quote from the poem. While their eyes block cold eye, search behind my shadow, quote unquote. There are no genuine feelings in their eyes, as there is no warmth in them. They only fix their eyes on his status, whether it's rich or poor. In the second stanza, the pastor tells his son that they used to shake hands with genuine intentions because they were glad to see the guests. But now, handshaking has changed. They now shake hands with one hand while the other hand searches the pocket. Their eyes are fixed on the status of the guests. They want to know whether the person is rich or not. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, some. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hand search my empty pocket, quote unquote. In the third stanza, the poet explains further that if the modern day people welcome you first and second time, there will not be the third time. They will rather shut their doors on you. This reveals their pretense on the previous visit. He shares his personal experiences here. That is, if you are welcome first time, second time, there won't be third time. And that shows that first time and second time, they were only pretending, not that you have been welcomed. Let's quote from the poem. Feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home once, twice, there will be no tries. For then, I find doors shut on me. In the first stanza, he says that he has learned how to behave in different places to satisfy the people he met in those places. He also learned how to laugh vaguely, not from his heart. So, he's not part of them, just to satisfy them, so that he will be accepted in the society. Let's go from the poem again. So, I've learned many things, son. I've learned to wear many faces, like dresses own face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles, like a fixed portrait smile, unquote. He's full of pretense. He shakes hands just to impress, says goodbye, glad to meet you, it's been nice talking to you, when he means the opposite. Let's go from the poem again to back up our point. And shake hands without my heart. I've also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance. To say glad to meet you without being glad. And to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. He yearns for authenticity and rejects the pretense and conformity that dominate the present society. The personal has weighed the past and the present ways of life. He now loves to be associated with the time he was a child. This he tells his son when he says in the 7th stanza thus. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these melting things. That is, he doesn't want to be part of them again. In the last part of the poem, the poet urges his son to teach him how he used to behave then. He wants to go back to genuine ways of interacting with the people. This also serves as advice to his son not to embrace the attitudes of the modern day. Now from the poem. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you, quote unquote. So, that is the appreciation of the content of the poem, stanza by stanza. Let's now go ahead and identify some of the themes that we have in the poem. The first one is theme of identity. The poem reflects on the theme of identity as it relates to the loss of genuine identification. Many people in this modern era have lost their authentic identity due to the demands of the society. That is, many people are dancing to the tune of the society. They have lost their real self. The poet is not comfortable with the loss of his true identity due to societal pressure. He remembers his childhood when there was innocence and genuine laughter. We also have the theme of conformity. The theme of conformity is expressed in the poem when the poet reflects on his childhood. He compares the attitudes of the people then with the current trends of behavior. The people nowadays have to conform to the dictates of the society to gain acceptance. Hence, there is loss of innocence. The personal have to wear different looks in different places to conform to the society. That is, it is the society that dictates to the people nowadays. And that is what the poet is trying to condemn. There's also the loss of innocence. Loss of innocence. There is a loss of innocence in this modern day as expressed in the poem. The personal reflects on the changes that take place from his childhood to adulthood. He yearns for the innocence, purity, and genuine interaction of his childhood era. There was genuine laughter and gestures, but now replaced with a fake and artificial denial. We also have nostalgia. If we study this poem critically, we realize that it is written based on the theme of nostalgia. The personal evokes a strong sense of nostalgia when he engages his son with the narrative. The personal longs for the past ways of life, when you don't have to put on any mask. You don't have to pretend to be accepted in society. He longs for genuine and authentic interactions. There's also self-reflection. The pen personal retraces back his steps and evaluates himself. That is why he is able to itemize the differences in his behaviors in the past and present. He thereby acknowledges his detachment from his real self in order to conform to the society and be accepted. The poem serves as a clarion call to the readers also to consider their own journeys of self-discovery and the need to remain authentic. One should not be influenced by the society. That is, we should not be influenced by the society we live in, so that we can be accepted in society. Fear, that's the last theme there. This theme plays an important role in why the people conform to the dictates of the society. The fear of being rejected and becoming vulnerable in the society forces many into suppression of genuine emotions. They thereby adopt false identities to be relevant in the society. They hide their real self for them to be accepted in society. The fear of being condemned is leading many people to what we are experiencing nowadays. That's where we have the theme of fear. We also identify some poetic devices used in the poem Once Upon a Time, composed by Gabriel Okara. The first one is repetition. This is used to lay emphasis and call attention to the readers. Some words and phrases are repeated in this poem. The phrase "once upon a time" is in the opening line, and it is also repeated in the last line of the poem. The phrase is used to emphasize the contrast between the idealized past and the pretentious present. We also have the use of contrast. The persona is able to establish contrast between the past and the present with the use of contrast. He contrasts the people's behavior, including his own when he was a boy, with the present time. This brings out the themes of innocence, authenticity, and conformity. There's also the use of imagery. This has to do with the experiences of the readers while reading the poem. Imagery in literature is the art of having a mental picture of what you are reading. When you are visualizing the picture of what you are reading in your brain, imagery is used especially in stanzas 1 and 2 and some other lines in the poem. Let's identify them from the poem. In lines 2, 3, and 4 of stanza 1, we have the following. They used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but now they only laugh with their teeth. You see that we are, as we are reading this, we are visualizing them in our brain. In stanza 2, they used to shake hands with their hearts. Now they shake hands without heart, quote and unquote. With this, the readers are able to visualize the difference in the behaviors of the poem persona. Another one is simile. This is the comparison of two things with the use of as or like. It is used in lines 23, 24, and 39. As we have them there. Cocktail face with all their conforming smiles. Like a fixed portrait smiles, his facial appearance with the conforming smiles are being compared here. So, and line 39 shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fang. We also have the use of allusion. The poet's use of the expression once upon a time, which is associated with folktales, is an example of classical allusion. The expression prepares the readers and jazz them up to have an interest in the narrative. This allusion adds depth to the poem and establishes that there are differences between the past and the present life. There is also the use of metaphor. This is a direct comparison of two things without the use of as or like. A good example is in stanza 1 of the poem. While their ice block cold eyes search behind my shadow, quote unquote. This means that there is no warmth in their eyes, no feelings at all. There is also the use of alliteration. This is the repetition of the same consonant sound at the beginning of closely placed words in lines of poems. We have this in lines 33 and 40. But belief means sound, quote unquote. Also, like 40. So, show means sound, quote unquote. The last one there is enjamment, that is otherwise called run on line. This device is used in poems to create a flow and rhythm. It enhances the reading experience. Clauses and sentences run over multiple lines without punctuation. The discourse in a line extends to the other lines. This is also referred to as a run on line in literature. So that's that. We have appreciated the poem Once Upon a Time, composed by Gabriel Okara. As I told you earlier, the poem is in the new syllabus of WAEC, that is 2026 to 2030 syllabus. All the poems and the text are going to be discussed and appreciated in this platform, That is, all the 12 poems are going to be appreciated and all the recommended texts are going to be comprehensively discussed on this channel. If you are new on this channel, click on the subscribe button there so that you will be part of us. Whenever any video is released, if you subscribe, you click the subscribe button, you'll be notified whenever any video is released. And you also have access to all my videos on this channel, because I've already discussed all the poems and the novels in the present syllabus that we are using now. All the text and the poems are already discussed are past questions for both WAEC and NECO. You can invite your friends also to join us so that they can also benefit. You are also free to share any of my video on any social media platform. Thank you and God bless.